Hello everybody, Septa here, and today I'm going to be platinuming Red Dead Redemption 1. Now, to start off this game, we hop off a boat in the town of Blackwater, and we're walking with government Agent Edgar Ross and the other guy, I don't know his name, but we're essentially tasked with finding the main character John Marston's old friends. And the first one we find is right here holding the gun, Bill Williamson. And as we are, searching for him, we kind of talk for a bit, and then his goon shoots us and knocks us unconscious, which not a very good outcome for John. But then thankfully, a cowgirl named Bonnie McFarland, who is one of the first people we do missions for, helps save our lives, and we get the That Government Boy trophy for completing Exodus in America. While completing missions, I changed my targeting mode to Pro so that I could get a headshot here and get the trophy The Gunslinger for using Expert Targeting mode. Now here's another type of mission, a Stranger mission, which is basically just the side quests of the game. And this was the first one that I ended up completing. Now there was I think 20 in total that I had to do, but the first one gives me the Strange Things Are Afoot trophy. After completing some missions, John and our newfound friends, like Nigel West Dickens, the Marshal and his deputies, and some other people, decided to assault Fort Mercer, where Bill Williamson is being held up, and also where we got shot at the start of the game. Now, we have a very interesting plan here. So, West Dickens is a snake oil salesman, so we are putting a machine gun inside of his wagon for one of the most epic parts of the game, where essentially we just get to open fire on the fort in a wagon. It's just a really cool thing. So Nigel West Dickens knocks on the wagon, and John pretty much just aura farms, and these guys are stupid because they stand there after they can see the Gatling gun. And, we go to town. Now, see, it's really nice that we get a use of a heavy gun this early in the game, because there's a trophy I get much later for getting, I think it's 500 kills with these heavy weapons. So it's nice to get some kills early on. After fighting through all of the men inside of the fort, the gang and I look outside and see that more reinforcements are coming to try to stop us. But what Johnny Boy does is grabs the wagon and the Gatling gun, and we're right back at it. Which, this was really nice because it eliminated a lot of the grind later on in the platinum. After repelling that second wave of enemies, we capture one of the banditos and basically just interrogate him and find out that Bill is gone and ran away to Mexico to meet up with another one of John's old friends, Javier Escuela. So we head down to Mexico. But first, we get the Land of Opportunity trophy for completing the Assault on Fort Mercer quest. Now back to what I was saying. Irish, the guy that was talking earlier with the big bushy hair, takes us on a raft down to Mexico, and basically no one likes him, so things go bad, as you can see in the gameplay. Now in Mexico, we meet a bunch of new people again, like this guy, Landon Ricketts. He's basically just an old retired gunslinger, but he helps us with a lot of stuff. We also meet one of the higher ups of the Mexican army, because there's basically a civil war going on in Mexico over the power. So the Mexican government sends us to do a lot of different jobs, like this one, probably one of the most fun missions, where we have to protect a train before a bridge blows up. After completing this mission with the train, I actually got a gold medal on the mission, so I get the trophy Gold Medal for, getting a gold medal in a combat mission. While doing yet another train mission, I was using the Gatling gun, farming more kills for later trophy, and got the Bullseye trophy for getting 250 headshots in any game mode. After this, I started doing the other side of Mexico's quests, which was helping the rebels, and this guy here shaking Johnny Boy's hand is the rebel leader. Now, he's honestly, he was a fun character, but he is, crazy. I mean, one of the first things he has us do is drive this wagon filled with dynamite, right? He has us crash it into the gates of this fort. And, I mean, This only took me 2 tries. I've seen other platinum creators take it, like have this take on way longer, but just look at it. This was such a fun mission, and as I said, on the second attempt, I did successfully, you know, reach the fort and get in. And honestly, for a game made in 2010, I really like this part, especially how the Mexican soldiers come out and just get slimed by these rebels. I thought it was quite funny, and honestly, I preferred helping the rebels versus the army. After wiping out the fort, we found the second member of John's old gang, Javier Escuela. Now, essentially, Bill came to Mexico to find Javier Escuela, which is why we are tracking him down. And essentially, we are given the choice to either capture him or kill him. But because he's a little rat, I ended up shooting him, as you can see here. And it's just so much more satisfying to shoot these people, because you genuinely do like 4 hours of like work and missions to track these people down, so why would I not shoot him? So then I leave his corpse in the cell and deliver him to the government agents from the start of the game. These guys, honestly, they always just made me mad, because they're so, like, they're just assholes. I don't know what else to say about them. And after the cutscene, we get the Sons of Mexico trophy for completing the Gates of El Presidio. Going a little bit further in the story, we are now on the mission in Appointed Time, where we essentially raid the head of the Mexican army's house in search of Bill Williamson. Now, after clearing out the house, I'm not going to show it because it's pretty mundane, it's just shooting enemies. We stop the stagecoach in which the head of the Mexican army and Bill are shown, and because the leader of the Mexican army is a rat, he gave Bill to us. Now, I thought I was going to be able to shoot both of them, so I shot the dude, not knowing that the rebel was going to shoot Bill, so that kind of sucked. But I love how unofficial the rebels winning the war for Mexico is. Like, he kind of just shoots them. After delivering Bill's corpse and watching a quick cutscene, we get the trophy No More Fancy Words for completing an appointed time. Now here we fast forward, well, not really much into the story, but this is the third act, where essentially we're back at our home, helping the government agents even more. Now we are here to track down the final member, Dutch Vanderland, and first we need to get this Native American to help us, named Nastas. After rescuing him and doing some more work, we came face to face with Dutch for the first time, where he gave us a gift, which was brutally murdering this girl, which I don't know, I thought this scene was kind of cool, because he just shoots her for no reason. We also meet a professor that is here to talk to Nastas. His name is Mr. McDougal, but he basically talks to him like he's just an idiot, obviously because of the culture of the time, which I think is quite funny. Then they took us up into the mountains to spy on Dutch, and he didn't like that, so he sniped John. I don't really understand how he got knocked out. Dutch kind of just sniped him in the binoculars, and he got knocked out. But anyways, after getting shot, Nastas and McDougal rescued us and took us back, and John basically said that they can figure out all their problems, as they pretty much just argue with each other, with McDougal making fun of Nastas and calling him stupid. But at the end of this mission, we get the trophy A Savage Soul for completing At Home with Dutch. As I had been doing story for a while, I wanted to clear up some of the 100% completion requirements, like the bounties. Here I turn in my first bounty alive, which gives me the Clemency Pays trophy for completing a bounty alive. Now, the various things that we have to do for this is like uncover all the locations on the map, which I got here. A tip for this trophy is just to buy the maps from all the vendors and then look at the maps and it'll reveal all the locations. Honestly, it's the best way to get this trophy, and we get the On the Trail of Devaka trophy for this. Another thing we had to do was get some of the outfits in the game. This one by far is the easiest. It's the elegant suit, which you can just purchase in Thieves Landing. This also gives us a trophy called He Cleans Up Well. This suit allows us to cheat in poker. I didn't really utilize this, but it's a pretty cool feature. Among the other 100% completion objectives, we had to kill a lot of animals, and one of them in specific, the buffalo, gives us a trophy called Manifest Destiny for killing all of them. The animal that gave me the most trouble was the otter, as you can see me killing here. Any tips for platinum hunters is just look at guides on the internet of where to find all these. They spawn at those locations. The next trophy we get is called Bucking Awesome for breaking the Kentucky Saddler, the American Standard Bred, and the Hungarian Half-Bred. This was me getting my final horse and the rarest in the game, the Hungarian Half-Bred, which is also needed for a later trophy. But as I said, here we get the Bucking Awesome trophy. To stay on the topic of animals, here I killed the final animal in the game for unnatural selection. My last animal was the seagull, which is found in Blackwater, as a quick tip. Back to the story, completing missions. While killing enemies, I got the Long Arm of Marston trophy for killing 500 enemies with a rifle or repeater. In my playthrough, I did my best to be a good person, but for this next trophy, I just wanted to get it done as it's quite easy, but I had to do something extremely evil. I had to, it's hard to see, but there's a woman on the tracks. If you look in like the left middle of the screen, you can see her squirming around, but we get the Dastardly trophy for placing a hogtied woman on the track. After helping the agents enough, we teamed up with the United States Army to infiltrate Dutch's fort. And honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the game because it's cool to like have a Western battle with tons of other, like, I guess NPCs fighting alongside you, because they're all invincible, so you just kill them all. And after clearing out the fortress, we confront Dutch, and I will just let this cutscene play.
Sure. I got a plan, John.
You always got a plan, Dutch.
This is a good one.
I don't doubt it.
We can't always fight nature, John. We can't fight change. Can't fight gravity. We can't fight nothing. My whole life, all I ever did was fight.
Then give up, Dutch.
But I can't give up, neither. I can't fight my own nature. That's a paradox, John. You see?
Then I have to shoot you.
When I'm gone, they'll just find another monster. They have to. Because they have to justify their wages.
That's their business.
Our time has passed, John.
And after that heartbreaking scene of Dutch killing himself, we talk to the agents yet again, and we get the trophy, The Benefits of Civilization. After killing Dutch, we head back to our ranch to reunite with our family, and during this heartbreaking scene, I'll mention a trophy that I got but did not get footage for. It's called Spurred to Victory. Basically, you had to keep the same horse and complete 20 missions in a row. I got the trophy early on, I just didn't get any footage of it, so I figured this would be a good time to bring it up. But this is the final act of the game, where pretty much we're just hanging out with our family, doing simple tasks like herding cattle or breaking horses, that types of things. And honestly, I really liked the dynamic on the ranch. It was just so much different from the beginning of the game, you know, gunslinging, running around everywhere. Now, of course, nothing good ever lasts forever. So, while John is happy with his family, back again after doing all his work, well, Uncle, which is the man with the beard, spots, well, some intruders, and essentially what happens is we're the last members of the gang, John, Jack, and Abigail. Jack's his son, by the way, so they're here to kill us. Now I'm gonna be honest here, this was one of the hardest combat sections in the game, is you just have a bunch of enemies all around you, but here Uncle dies, which he wasn't in the game much, so I didn't have much feelings for him, but it was still very unfortunate that Uncle passed away. After fighting through even more government agents and army people, John said goodbye to his family, sent him away on the horse, and told him he'd meet up with them. Now, this was the only time in the game that I've seen John and Abigail get along, which is why what happens next is just so unfortunate. Like, that's the only time they've ever, at least in the game, said I love you to each other. John decides that it's time to face his fate. He heads to this barn door, and he takes a peek. You know? And, we see we're pretty much cooked here. I didn't know how to get out of this situation, so I'm just gonna let the scene play out. Enjoy. John Marston's life came to an unfortunate end, and even more unfortunately, his wife and son found him dead. They buried him up on the hill above their ranch. It shared a very, very sad moment. I'm gonna be honest, after my experience, I was very upset by this. But then the game jumps ahead in time, and we could see John Marston's grave. And as the camera pans away, we could see Jack returned home. And an even more sad thing is that you could see Abigail's grave right next to his, which honestly, it makes the scene even more sad, as this is like with Uncle, then John, then Abigail. It's all just right in a row. But we do get the Into the Sunset trophy for completing the last enemy that shall be. Now, the first thing I did was go for revenge, so I tracked down Edgar Ross by talking and killing his family, and we ended up having a duel with him, as he was being just extremely disrespectful to John, and I enjoyed the duels of this game, but this by far was the best duel. I'm gonna be honest. The pure hatred I had for Edgar Ross was unmatched. Now, for duels, it's very easy in my opinion, and as you can see, I just destroyed him. He didn't even get a chance. And as the story comes to a close, we get an epic title card with the trophy Nurture or Nature for completing Remember My Family. Now all that was left was to complete the challenges and other 100% completion requirements. One of the first ones I did was the gambling trophies, as well as the hideouts being cleared out, which is what I'm doing in this footage. I did these all mixed and matched, but the first trophy I earned was no dice for completing Game of Liar's dice without losing a single die. This trophy took multiple hours over the course of multiple nights and was absolutely terrible. The next trophy I went for, What About Hand Grenades, was here during my game of Horseshoe. Now, another use of the gambling, sorry for that stutter, another use of the gambling in the game was for the 100% completion. You basically just had to win every mini game. But this trophy was earned for getting a ringer on the Horseshoe game. So basically I got a ringer and I just sold and got the What About Hand Grenades trophy. This one wasn't too bad, but still difficult. Now, more about these hideouts as I went back to do more. They're not difficult per se. It's really just go to a location, kill enemies, and you could repeat these. This is where you'd earn like the 500 kills with the rifle and those sorts of trophies. Honestly, they're not bad at all. They were kind of fun, except for one of the outfits when I had to do them all in one day. That was a bit stressful. But here, the tumbleweed one especially was very easy. Overall, I just think it's enjoyable to kill people in Red Dead Redemption, so they were very fun to me personally. And here we get the trophy Evil Spirits for completing the Tumbleweed and Tesoro Azul hideouts. Still here with hideouts, another great one is the fort which Bill was in at the start of the game, Fort Mercer. Honestly, they made hideouts of pretty much everywhere on New Austin in America. And we get here the trophy Instincto Assassino for completing another 2 hideouts. This trophy comes after my break of the Platinum. I didn't play for about 9 days, so this trophy's kind of random as I was just doing stuff. But this trophy is barely legal for killing and skinning 18 grizzly bears. Just go up to the snowy part of the map. They spawn everywhere. The next trophy that I got was for doing the challenges. You get a trophy for completing your first set of challenges, and honestly, they were pretty difficult. They weren't difficult, more so they were just tedious. Like for the plant ones, because there's always plant ones, I had to pick like every plant in the game multiple times. But the first challenge set that I completed was the Treasure Hunter set, as with guides it was easy, but there's the trophy Frontiers. Back to gambling. As I said, when I came back to the Platinum, I was all over the place. We were playing poker this time to gain 2,000 chips, which my tips for this one is just to go to Blackwater and go all in over and over again, and we get the High Roller trophy. Another tip, just to save you some money, is save like every 5 seconds so that you don't lose all your money. This money you'll be saving comes into play when we need to buy the rare weapons, which the first rare weapon I bought, which was the Mauser pistol, got me the Exquisite Taste trophy for purchasing my first rare weapon. Rare weapons and unique weapons were very fun. There was 2 unique weapons, the explosive rifle and the tomahawk, that each had their own respective challenges and respective trophies. The tomahawk was honestly pretty fun, so I just kept farming hideouts to get the challenges done. The tomahawk honestly was surprisingly accurate, but it's just, I don't know. It was very fun, and I grinded with the tomahawk a lot during these hideouts, as I was completing them all for the first time, but also for the challenge later on. Here we get the trophy Austin Overpowered for completing the Twin Rocks Pike Basin and Gaptooth Breach hideouts. Another thing I mentioned at the start was Stranger Missions. We had to complete 15 of these for trophies, but 20 of them for 100% completion. And while completing this one, I needed to loot a body, and I got the trophy More Than a Fistful for earning $10,000. Now, you will spend this money 100%. Later the same day, as I was finishing up story missions, I got the People Are Still Strange trophy for completing 15 stranger tasks. They're not too bad, but they are lengthy. That's why I decided to get them done sooner of the 100% grind. To showcase more of the BS of these challenges, this is real footage of me grinding out the plant challenges. As I said, they were terrible. I was doing this for hours. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how I was just such a good person, except for when I put that lady on the railroad tracks. Now, you get fame for doing a lot of things, and I actually reached max fame and got the Man of Honor trophy while skinning an animal, but it's basically to get max fame and max or the least honor possible. Now here, back to Tomahawk grinding on these stupid hideouts. Honestly, this one, the Twin Rocks one, was the best for these Tomahawk grinding, and I apologize with the game audio. It's a bit delayed at this part. I've mostly fixed that issue, but it still comes up because recording on PlayStation is just a bit wonky. Anyhow, we actually finish the Tomahawk challenges in this hideout. Sorry, I lost my words. And here we go, Axe Master for completing all of the Tomahawk challenges. Now, back in the hideouts, we get the In a Hail of Bullets trophy for killing 500 enemies with a pistol or revolver in story mode. Once again, my tip for anyone doing this platinum, replay the hideouts. Here I finish the other unique weapon, the explosive rifle challenges, and get the Master Exploder trophy. Both of the unique weapon challenges were fun, but the explosive rifle was definitely more fun. This next trophy was extremely annoying, not because it was difficult or anything, but because I genuinely had to go across the entire map. For this trophy, I had to knock someone out in every single saloon in the game. Now, in most of these, people would either shoot me or they would gang up on me. There'd be like 5 dudes beating me up. So then I'd just die. So this trophy, when I tell you it took 3 hours, I got this trophy at 1 in the morning. It was tedious. Like right here, he almost walked outside of the saloon, which means I wouldn't have been able to get the trophy. But here, I obviously knock him out and get the Fighting Around the World trophy. Now, I was very close to 100% completion, and after being a good person the entire game, I was happy for the portion of the platinum where I needed to rack up a bounty. It was so fun to just kill people. Like, I had been helping people the entire game, so to just murder the entire town of Blackwater, police, civilians, animals, everything, it was so fun. I mean, I'm just massacring these cops. Multi-$1,000 bounty. This was the most fun of the platinum. Now, one of the actual trophies I needed was heading south on a white Bronco to escape the marshals on the Hungarian half-bred, but how I got the trophy here was just by killing them while riding the horse. And then, after my little rampage was all said and done, with my $5,000 bounty, I used the pardon letter that I got in one of the first missions of the game, which I recommend saving. You get it from the one dude with the glass eye. I forgot his name. But I used the pardon letter to just get rid of all my bounty, like nothing ever happened. I mean, it costed me nothing. And here we get the Friends in High Places trophy. As I said, these last 2 trophies were extremely fun. Okay, where's the final legendary animal after my little crash out? Hold on. It's that easy. Okay. 35 hours of progress in the story all comes down to this moment. Redeemed! 100% completion. Oh my god. That actually took me so long to do. Yeah, 27 hours of actual gameplay. And what do we get? Let's see the outfits. We get that. Oh, okay. And reach rank 10. I gotta wait a second, I think. Bureau uniform thing added. Oh, but now now we move on to Undead Nightmare, which is, you know, a whole nother thing. Oh, that outfit's tough. Show off your increased Deadeye ability as the Legend of the West. Oh, this is actually... The game was so fun. I thought I was going to get bored after beating the story in 15 hours. But no, 20 hours as Jack was still pretty fun. So, now on to Undead Nightmare.
Try
Undead Nightmare is in what I take a parallel universe, as John is with his family and seems to have no worries. But Uncle comes back after a stormy night as a zombie and chases around Abigail, and he bites her. And I found the whole encounter funny. We actually put down Uncle, and then Abigail bit Jack, and it was this whole conundrum. It was very humorous. I recommend you play this on your own. But we tied them up and rode off into the sunset to go solve whatever problem our family was being harmed by. The first thing we did was head into Blackwater, where we met Mr. McDougal, and John basically wanted to meet him as he's a smart scientist, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He really doesn't. You can see a little bit in the background the ambiance of the apocalypse, and it's a very cool thing after playing through the game. After talking and predicting his own death, he gets killed by a zombified Nastas, which I find very fitting after playing through the main story. After we're introduced to one of the main mechanics of Undead Nightmare, which is basically taking a torch and burning the coffins of all the cemeteries. This essentially cleanses them and is used during some main quests to progress the story, but it basically just helps cure the apocalypse, I guess you could say, but they're pretty much just progression markers. Another part of it was keeping the towns and trading posts safe. Now this was a very overarching thing that I needed to do, as there was a long-term trophy to have every single town in the game safe at the same time. We get the Downward Spiral trophy after talking to some civilians and doing those previously mentioned things. The next thing I decided to do was a stranger mission where we met this crazy hunter up in the woods who was talking about how he shot a Sasquatch, and I couldn't stop laughing at this encounter. This side quest was very enjoyable. We actually do find a Sasquatch, and for killing him, we get 6 years in the making for finding and killing a Sasquatch. Now, unfortunately, after we kill all the other Sasquatches, we find the last one. He's pretty much just sad because we killed every one of his species. And honestly, this kind of ruined my fun because he's just, all sad because he's the only one left. And I mean, it's completely optional to shoot him, so I let him be because, I'm trying to redeem myself for killing Edgar Ross's family. Now, here's a sick part of the game. There's 4 horses, the horses of war. Pestilence, Famine, Death, and War. The first one I found was War, which literally by just touching zombies, it sets them on fire and kills them, which it's also a horse on fire. It's the sickest thing you could ever have. Our friends from Story Mode, especially Nigel West Dickens, are back, and he, even in the midst of the apocalypse, is trying to sell his snake oils, which this time John doesn't really help. He tricks people into using them, and here's the glass eye guy. Still can't remember his name, but he, of course, as he's smelly and weird, he is not attacked by the zombies, which I thought was quite funny. And here we find Nigel West Dickens, scared, as always. And we, from his quests, actually get one of the best weapons in the DLC. Which, honestly, these first couple quests we have to do for a trophy aren't too bad. But afterwards, the story gets much more interesting. So after helping him with some things, we get the Blunderbuss, which is a very cool weapon. And we get the Judge the Man by the for completing the 2nd and 3rd quests of the DLC. Now back to that trophy I talked about. I pretty much just speed ran the game to get the Spinning Plates trophy for having every territory saved. And we met back up with Landon Ricketts, but just to comment on the last trophy, many people find it very hard, but if you just speed run the missions and don't really explore anything, I found that you could just complete them all in one go. We meet up with some nuns to acquire another amazing weapon of the apocalypse. Basically, what you saw with Landon back there was it lured the zombies in and then blew them up with dynamite. Another very useful tool, but this tool by far is more useful. We basically had to help the nuns, so we saved her territory, which was the church place where they all live. And then we discovered her experiments of holy water on the zombies. And I found this part very interesting because in most zombie fiction, there just isn't a cure, you know? Like The Walking Dead, there just isn't a cure. They just let them. But with the holy water, they almost get saved. So we are able to weaponize holy water. And after helping Sister Calderon with all her troubles, and this trophy actually glitched for me, so I had to do this mission twice, we get the... We get the Superior Dance for completing Mother Superior Blues, and that mission was honestly very fun. Now, unlike the main story mode, Undead Nightmare has a very short story, so we were already at the end where the rebel leader is chasing this poor woman as a zombie, and he was always kind of odd in this way, always chasing women around, so it was quite funny to me that he retained his ways, but we actually get to shoot him, so it was fun because I just enjoy shooting people. Next, we had to descend into the underground tombs, which I never noticed during the story. Also, the place we're in is like the general of the Mexican army's house that we raided. But we find out that the reason that all the zombies are here is because this mask got moved from its position in the temple. And, well, we put the mask back, and everything goes right. And also, once again, my apologies, because the audio is delayed right here. It always makes me mad whenever there's special moments like the end of the DLC, and that's just when my audio decides to crap out and delay. So, after saving the day, John returns home, and Abigail explains pretty much exactly what I said, how as soon as trouble starts, he runs off into the sunset, which I found quite funny, but it cuts to the future. And that same stupid dude with the glass eye steals the mask. Now this happens after the conclusion of the main story, which I found extremely entertaining because it was only while completing these missions that I was worried about no free roam. But we come back as Undead John, which honestly is the only thing cooler than regular John, is John as a zombie. I thought this was so cool. He just groans. He doesn't talk anymore. He just groans. We retrieve the ability to have the body of a zombie but the mind of a human and get the all's right in the world for completing on a pale horse. While grinding out the bounties or retrieval missions of Undead Nightmare, I was at the Fort El Presidio, just using the cannon to farm up zombie kills for this next trophy. I got some progress in the main story, but this is definitely the way you want to farm it. The trophy is mowing them down for killing 500 enemies with a mounted weapon in any game mode. There were also challenges in Undead Nightmare, but I'm not going to be covering them as they're honestly very boring, so you could just see me complete the challenge.
Yes! Please! Please! Please be the Chupacabra. Is that it? Yes! Mad Marston the Trail Warrior, all the challenges. Chupa thingy. Oh my god. The 4th Undead Hunter challenge was so hard. Oh my god. Now we just have one more thing to do and then I'll finally get this platinum. There it is! Oh my god, there it is. Come here. No, the ledge. Come on, horse. There it is. Please don't drag me. Yes! Come on, John! Come on, John! There's rainbows and butterflies. Come on, John! Come on. Please. Oh, this has been so fun, but it's been so long. Come on. This thing is sick. Come on. Come on. Please, John. I think we almost got it. I think this is the hardest buck in the game, or horse to break in the game. Come on. Please. Yes! Oh, yes! Fan service. Zed's dead, baby. Yes! Legend of the West. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you all for watching. And, it's so good to be back. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.